Hello and welcome back to my channel. You are watching She TV, the place to be for all the random crap I love talking about. Today we're going to be talking about beef. And I'm not talking about what's for dinner. I'm talking about Beef, the new Netflix series that you just have to watch. Especially if you're the kind of person that has ever suffered from anger management or road rage. Now, I don't frequently suffer from road rage, but I have suffered from a little bit of anger management, and I have had a few episodes in my life. So without further ado, I just want you to know that if you haven't seen Beef on Netflix, starring Ali Wong and Steven Yeun, I hope I pronounced that right, you need to go and see it now, right away. Even if you don't suffer from anger management issues or road rage, the show is phenomenal. Now, today we're going to be talking about it, or I'm going to be talking about it, because I recently had an episode like this, and I now, looking back at it, don't regret it. Not one bit. And that's the problem. And that's why we need to talk about these things, because society really isn't helping people cope with anger. And if you get in trouble, you will be coping with it once you get like a hefty bill, or you get arrested, or you get a ticket, or whatever the repercussions are. But none of those things really solution the core of the problem. And so let's talk about it. Let's get into the show. I'm not going to tell you everything about it because obviously I want you to see it. And then I'm going to tell you about my road rage incident. So I'm going to tell you about the show first, and then I'm going to tell you about my road rage incident, and just like how I look back at it now and I really don't regret it, but I know that that wasn't a good thing. So let's start talking about the show. So in the show, the first episode just starts off with a bang, okay? Like these two people are in a parking lot and one person is just trying to pull out calmly. He's already having a really shitty day. His name is Danny. He is like a unsuccessful contractor that, you know, and when I say unsuccessful, I mean like the company that he has isn't really doing very, very well. Now this resonates with me because I have had many companies. I have owned La Gringa 1, La Gringa 2, I have managed another La Gringa, I've had a food truck, I have done face painting booths in New York City street fairs, I have done a lot of businesses throughout the years. I also manage another business, and so I sometimes feel like I haven't really achieved the success that I'm looking for. So this is why Danny Cho, one of the main characters, kind of resonates with me in the beginning. And then you have Ali. Her name is Ali Wong. That's the original actress name. But in the show, her name is Amy Lau. Okay, Amy Lau is the other person in the parking lot. And she is just driving by, and they kind of like have this incident where they both almost collide, kind of like the movie Crash, but they don't. And because they are both in this like festering of how much they hate their lives or things about their life, they just both like curse each other out, and one of them gives the other one a middle finger. And this is where the beginning of the show begins. They literally both leave this parking lot chasing, one is running away, the other one is chasing the other one in their car, and they just go into this mad dash where they're going through all the side streets of this really expensive, luxurious neighborhood, and they are just trying to just scare one another and like piss each other off more. It gets so bad that they end up on top of a sidewalk of this really bougie house, and they ruin the entire lawn, and they just won't quit. At one point, Amy almost crashes into Danny, and at this point, Danny still doesn't know who's in the car trying to attack him, but he is trying to be redeemed for her flipping him off in the parking lot, because he's just had it at this point, and somebody has to get it. Because he is so mad at his life, somebody has to get it. And that's where I come into this, where I'm watching this show and like I wasn't having a good day, and I'm like, holy shit. I was these two people just a couple of months ago, and I was in my car and I was mad at the world, and someone did something to me that I felt was not my fault at all, and I thought that person was going to apologize to me for almost killing me, and they didn't. So here's what happens. I live in New York City. There are a lot of main vein roads that are 4 to 6 to 8 lanes across. I'm going down this street. I'm doing like 35 miles per hour, whatever. I think the speed limit now is 25 in New York, but everyone drives about 35 going down this main road. And it's a green light for me, so I am just going. And through the corner of my eye, I could see that there is a car, a black, might have been like a Nissan Maxima, pretty new car. I don't know, maybe it was a Lexus. It was black, all tinted windows. It's driving, and I could see that this guy's gonna eat the red light. He's already gone through the local lane, and he's still going. And I'm like, how does this guy think, in my mind as I'm driving, I'm like, how does this guy think that he is going to make it? And he at no point wants to stop until I hit my brakes. Mind you, it's a green light. It's not like it turned into a green light. It was a green light. Everybody behind me, next to me, we're all just driving along our way. And he's not stopping. So by the time we both stop, because we realize this is gonna happen, we both stop on a dime and we almost hit each other. I put my window down. At this point, I'm flustered. I'm nervous. I'm not at my road rage episode yet. I truly don't really suffer from road rage. I think it's stupid. I think most of the time when people cut you off, it's because they either have bad navigation or they just don't know that they should be in the right lane when they want to exit. That's how I see it. It's rare that I think someone has cut me off. So again, I am not upset yet. I'm like, put my window down. I see that he puts his window down. And do you think that he apologizes for almost killing me and maybe the people that were behind me because we had the green light and he had a red light? No, he rolls down his window or whatever, remote control, takes his window down, and he tells me, "You fucking bitch." And I'm like, at this point, again, things are happening in my life, and I was in an okay kind of mood, but all of a sudden the psycho just like glares over my face, and I just decide I am going to run after this guy. So I start to go after him in my car, and I have a cup of coffee in the car. I open the window, I throw it at his beautiful windshield, and his whole car was so clean you could eat off of it. And I still am not satisfied at this point. So we continue to chase each other down this really, really, really busy boulevard, and at some point he decides to throw something at my car, and at that point I'm like, I don't give a shit because I don't care about my car half as much as you do, so I'm still satisfied. But because he thought he was gonna get one up on me again, I start to chase this guy down all of these local roads, and I am like literally thinking to myself, well, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna hit his car? No, I didn't know what I was gonna do. All I wanted him to know was that he was not gonna get away with calling me whatever he called me, especially after he basically endangered my life. He should have had some shred of empathy for his mistake, but he didn't. And I felt like I needed to teach him something. But at the end of the day, after he basically ran away or hid from me, I realized as I sat in the car that I felt really good about myself. I felt some kind of freakish liberation, like I had the opportunity to like let out some steam. As senseless as it was, I felt like for a moment in time, I felt like I had made someone realize their mistake and like chased them down, and I felt like I had some kind of release, some kind of cathartic release from all of this insanity, this rage that I had just gone through. Now, looking back, I know that that makes absolutely no sense, because had me and this guy actually gotten into a car accident or a physical fight, or maybe he would just would have pulled a gun out on me, it would not have solved anything, and I probably would have been in court and trying to explain myself with all the sympathy and empathy in my heart, and the judge probably would have been like, no, you cannot be doing that in an everyday society. So back to the show. Beef on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, these two characters engage in a beef, a fight, and basically this very vulgar lifestyle for quite a few months of their lives, and they basically begin to attack each other at every chance that they get by discovering each other's addresses, their phone numbers, and they basically chase after each other and do horrible things to themselves throughout the entire series. One woman is very successful, Amy, and she's basically landing a really huge deal, and she's about to become more successful than she already is. And Danny, who is the contractor who is failing, is not succeeding at anything in his life, and by getting into this road rage thing that keeps on going for a long period of time, his life perpetually gets worse. And for me, when I think about both of these characters, Amy and Danny, I marry them in my mind because I'm a woman, and I have, this confirmation bias that like I am successful and I deserve more, but I don't have everything that I want as a business owner. I get to make my own hours, I get to work, I get to decide who works for me, who doesn't, and how to grow my own company. But the reality is that I haven't hit like the millions. So this confirmation bias of like I deserve more sometimes plays tricks on my mind and makes me want to not necessarily stop working, but it makes me feel like, oh, I just want to sit back for once. And it's hard as a woman and a mother to balance a business identity as well. And it just is what it is. And that is something that Amy is struggling with. And then with Danny, who isn't successful and who is kind of like trailing behind everyone he knows, I identify with him because, again, I'm not as successful as I want to be. And sometimes I feel like I'm totally clueless, although I've been living on, I'm living a salary that I've created for myself as a business owner. So it's a wonderful show, and the final episode is so insane like it goes from one extremity to the next, and at the end, I'm not going to tell you what brings them to be both basically in a ditch on the side of a hill of California, shooting at each other and throwing each other off of hills and like knocking each other out, because there's something far more extreme that gets them to that point. But the episode is so insane, and when it ends, they are friends, and it's like the catharsis of attacking each other for all of their problems and everything that they're upset about that have nothing necessarily to do with each other. It leaves them both with a sense of relief and friendship to some degree, because you don't get to see what else happens at the end. But it's just an amazing show, and I just want to say that if you suffer from a road rage or anger management issues, seek help, because society isn't going to allow you to justify shooting up a bodega or hitting somebody else's car because you're upset. And I know that because I got lucky enough not to end up in that position, but I wouldn't want anyone to actually go through that. And I really hope that I don't have any more road rage episodes, because they're not healthy, okay? So I love you guys, and I know I probably haven't helped you with anything in your life right now, except for a brand new show you can watch on Netflix, Beef on Netflix. It's amazing. And the fact that you probably need psychological help if you're having incidences where you're willing to kill another person, or at least hurt them significantly enough just to feel better. Mental health is a thing. We all want to try to achieve it. Amen to that. Ciao bacalao for now. Bye.